ascension to the throne. Nebuchadnezzar II, also spelled Nebuchadnezzar II, was born around 634 BC. He was the eldest son of Nabopolassar, the founder of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Nabopolassar had successfully rebelled against the Assyrian Empire and established the independence of Babylon in 626 BC. This marked the beginning of the Neo-Babylonian period, a renaissance of Babylonian culture and power. Nebuchadnezzar II's rise to prominence began as a military commander under his father. He demonstrated his military prowess early on, particularly in the Battle of Carchemish in 605 BC. In this decisive battle, the Babylonian forces, allied with the Medes and Persians, defeated the remnants of the Assyrian army and their Egyptian allies. This victory effectively ended Assyrian dominance and solidified Babylonian control over Mesopotamia. Following this victory, Nabopolassar died, and Nebuchadnezzar rushed back to Babylon to secure his succession. He was crowned king in the 6th of August of 5 BC, beginning a reign that would last for 43 years, until 562 BC. Expansion of the empire. Nebuchadnezzar II is renowned for his military campaigns and the expansion of the Babylonian Empire. His reign was marked by numerous military campaigns aimed at consolidating and expanding Babylonian control over the Near East. Conquest of Jerusalem. One of Nebuchadnezzar's most notable achievements was the conquest of Jerusalem. In 597 BC, he laid siege to the city, capturing King Jehoiachin and taking many Jewish captives back to Babylon. This event is known as the First Babylonian Captivity. In 587–586 BC, after a rebellion by Zedekiah, the puppet king he had installed, Nebuchadnezzar returned to Jerusalem, besieged it again, and ultimately destroyed the city and the first temple. This marked the beginning of the Babylonian exile for the Jewish people. Campaigns in the Levant and Egypt. Nebuchadnezzar conducted several campaigns in the Levant, subduing cities and states that had previously been under Assyrian and then Egyptian influence. His campaigns extended Babylonian control over much of modern-day Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. He also launched a campaign against Egypt, although the results were mixed. While he did not conquer Egypt, he managed to halt its influence in the region and secure Babylonian dominance. Economic and cultural flourishing. Under Nebuchadnezzar's rule, Babylon became one of the most magnificent cities of the ancient world. He initiated extensive building projects, including the reconstruction of the city's walls, temples, and palaces. The Ishtar Gate, one of the most famous structures of ancient Babylon, was constructed during his reign. This grand entrance to the inner city was adorned with glazed brick reliefs of dragons and bulls, symbolizing the gods Marduk and Adad. Nebuchadnezzar is also credited with the construction of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, although there is debate among historians about their actual existence and location. Legacy. Nebuchadnezzar II's reign marked the zenith of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. His military conquests and architectural achievements left a lasting legacy. His impact on the Jewish people and their history is particularly significant, as the Babylonian exile profoundly influenced Jewish culture and religion. Nebuchadnezzar's empire eventually fell to the Persians under Cyrus the Great in 539 BC. But his legacy as one of the greatest kings of ancient Mesopotamia endures. His reign is a testament to the power and grandeur of Babylon, a city that has captured the imagination of people throughout history. Certainly, Aya. Here is a concise yet detailed account of the conquest and destruction of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar II. In 597 BC, Nebuchadnezzar II, king of Babylon, besieged Jerusalem, capital of the kingdom of Judah. King Jehoiachin surrendered, and Nebuchadnezzar exiled him, along with many nobles and skilled workers, to Babylon. He installed Zedekiah as a puppet king. However, Zedekiah rebelled, forming alliances against Babylon. In 587–586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar responded by laying siege to Jerusalem again. After a brutal siege lasting about 18 months, the Babylonian forces breached the city walls. Jerusalem was captured and the Babylonians destroyed Solomon's temple, a central place of worship for the Jews. The city was left in ruins, and a significant portion of the population was deported to Babylon. This event marked the beginning of the Babylonian exile, a pivotal moment in Jewish history, profoundly influencing their culture and religion. Certainly, Ea, here is a detailed account of Nebuchadnezzar II's monumental constructions and the glory of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar II, reigning from 605 to 562 BC, transformed Babylon into one of the ancient world's most magnificent cities. His most famous construction was the Ishtar Gate, an imposing structure adorned with glazed brick reliefs of dragons and bulls, symbolizing the gods Marduk and Adad. The gate was part of the city's fortifications, which included a double-wall system stretching over 17 kilometers. Nebuchadnezzar also rebuilt the Etemenanki, a massive ziggurat dedicated to Marduk, believed to inspire the Tower of Babel story. The Hanging Gardens, attributed to him, although their existence is debated, were said to be an extraordinary feat of engineering created to replicate the mountainous landscape for his wife, Amitis. These projects not only showcased Babylon's architectural prowess but also its cultural and religious significance, solidifying Nebuchadnezzar's legacy as a master builder and a symbol of Babylonian grandeur. The story of Nebuchadnezzar's dream and its interpretation by Daniel is one of the most captivating narratives in the book of Daniel, found in the Old Testament. This event is recorded in Daniel 2 and highlights themes of divine revelation, prophecy, and the sovereignty of God over earthly kingdoms. The dream. In the second year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had a troubling dream that left him deeply disturbed. Despite his anxiety, he could not remember the details of the dream. He summoned his magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and astrologers, demanding that they not only interpret the dream but also recount it to him without his having to describe it. This impossible task led to the king's fury, and he ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon when they failed to meet his demands. Daniel's intervention. Among those facing execution were Daniel and his three friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, who had been taken captive from Judah. Upon hearing of the decree, Daniel approached Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, and requested time to seek the dream's meaning from God. Daniel and his friends prayed earnestly, and God revealed a mystery to Daniel in a vision, the revelation. Daniel was brought before Nebuchadnezzar, where he humbly acknowledged that the revelation came from God, not from any human wisdom. He then proceeded to describe and interpret the dream, the statue. Nebuchadnezzar's dream featured a colossal statue with a head of fine gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet partly of iron and partly of clay. The stone, a stone, not cut by human hands, struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay, smashing them. The entire statue crumbled and was blown away like chaff, while the stone grew into a great mountain that filled the whole earth. The interpretation. Daniel explained that the statue represented a succession of kingdoms, head of gold, Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonian Empire, symbolizing its unmatched splendor and power, chest and arms of silver, a future kingdom inferior to Babylon, identified by many scholars as the Medo-Persian Empire, belly and thighs of bronze, another kingdom that would rule over the earth, often associated with the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great. Legs of iron, a strong and powerful kingdom commonly interpreted as the Roman Empire. Feet of iron and clay, a divided kingdom, partly strong and partly brittle, representing the fragmented nature of power following the Roman Empire. The stone that destroyed the statue and grew into a mountain symbolized a divine kingdom established by God, which would endure forever and supersede all earthly realms. Nebuchadnezzar's response. Nebuchadnezzar was awestruck by Daniel's accurate recounting and interpretation of the dream. He fell prostrate before Daniel, acknowledging the greatness of Daniel's God. The king declared, "Surely your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries." He rewarded Daniel with high honors, making him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and placing him in charge of all its wise men. Daniel's friends were also promoted to high positions. Significance. This story underscores the themes of divine sovereignty and the transient nature of human kingdoms. It emphasizes that true wisdom and power belong to God, who reveals mysteries and controls the destiny of nations. The dream and its interpretation not only affirmed Daniel's faith in God's supremacy, but also provided a prophetic vision of the future course of history, highlighting the ultimate establishment of God's eternal kingdom. Nebuchadnezzar's dream and Daniel's interpretation remain a profound testament to the interplay between divine providence and human history. resonating through centuries as a powerful narrative of faith and prophecy. Period of madness. Nebuchadnezzar II's period of madness is described in the book of Daniel chapter 4. The king had a dream of a great tree that was cut down, leaving only a stump. Daniel interpreted this as a divine warning. Nebuchadnezzar would be driven away from people and live like an animal until he acknowledged God's sovereignty. This prophecy came true when Nebuchadnezzar was struck with a mental illness, often thought to be boanthropy, causing him to live in the wild, eat grass, and behave like an ox for 7 years. Recovery and acknowledgement of God. After the 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar's sanity was restored. He praised and honored the Most High God, recognizing his eternal dominion and power. This transformation marked a significant spiritual awakening for the king, who acknowledged God's authority over all earthly kingdoms. In the end, Nebuchadnezzar's journey from pride to humility serves as a timeless reminder of the power of divine intervention and the importance of recognizing a higher authority. His story of madness and recovery not only highlights the transient nature of human power,